So here we are. Good afternoon, everyone, coming from Europe. Hey, Greg. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this short and I would say packed LinkedIn Live session. We will try to keep it as short as possible, but really bringing the value to you as our audience here. You know me, my name is Celia Kiroski. I'm the head of partnerships here with Simos Cloud. What we are going to speak today is about HR Core Reward happening in Barcelona in just 1 week. Actually, it's the next week. So, whether you're a long time attendee or just exploring HR Core Reward for the first time, we are glad if you are there. If not, we can speak after the event with you. But I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who doesn't really need much of introduction, at least for the ones who are in this total rewards sphere. It's Greg Miller, driving the driving force behind the HR Core events. I would say not only HR Core Rewards and the architect together with his colleagues, obviously, of what's shaping up to be another unforgettable edition of the HR Core Reward. So, Greg, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you as
Good
well.
afternoon. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I think you put a little bit too much on my
Pressure?
shoulders there. We do have a
No,
very,
no, no,
really
no.
good
No
team
worries.
who do this together. We work very hard for it, so we hope to make every edition better than the last, and build on every single event that we run. That's right. But yeah, there's a big team behind us. It's not just myself.
So when we were discussing, I remember when we were prepping for this LinkedIn Live, we were like, let's give the audience a little bit of sneak peek of into what makes this year's event special, why it matters now more than ever, and
True.
how you can actually an event that simply you can't miss. Maybe this is, let's say, maybe a mistake from our side. Maybe we should have done this like 3 weeks ago when the room was not fully packed already. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
saw your post.
yeah, but this will be
If
this
you're
will
thinking
be
about
lesson
joining.
learned, lesson learned for next year.
Yeah.
So this is an event. Let's give a context now of the event for those who are not maybe enrolled already or haven't heard about it. This is really an event where you are actually gathering together all the total rewards leaders, comp and ben experts, HR strategists. So you have seen it grow over the year, obviously, and as we discussed even previously. So what would you say is the new or different about the 2025 edition?
Well, yeah, like you mentioned, it is the longest running event that we've been running at Tenure. I mean, we've been around for a couple of decades now. I only joined the company 13 years ago. But ever since it has been building every event from the last. So, well, when you look at I mean, the topics for the coming event when it comes to employee engagement or pay transparency, which is a big directive that came into force in 2023, I believe. But then it's really going to be all organizations need to have that have all of it in place by 2026. So we're only a year away. So last year being the first time we really heard from our speakers about it, and then building on the experience they've had trying to put everything in place. So when it comes to especially the pay transparency directive in the EU, that's a big topic. But then there's lots of case studies. There's pay for performance is always something that's being spoken about. The well-being being a focus where a rewards model focused around some integrated well-being is also a focus. Not just something that needs to be kept as a side note, but it's not optional anymore. And then
Exactly.
really looking for what's driving the future of rewards.
Yeah, and I really like this because not only that, obviously, it goes along with something that we are doing with Siemens Cloud, but I'm really impressed, and now I'm even watching at the speakers and the agenda while we are talking. So it must be, from your perspective, very hard, but also I would say an exciting journey to find all these great minds of the in the world of HR and really experts in their field together and to make them speak about what makes them awake at night and what keeps them busy these days.
That's
So in
true.
terms of rewards, in terms of what everything that you have just mentioned, in terms of transparency and so on, is there, I know that it's a very difficult question. It's like asking a mom which child is more lovable to her, but is there anything that the people should pay more attention to, or how is the setup? So I know from the last year, but maybe to the new people coming to the event. So I know that there are some main stages, also booths at the outside. So can you give a snippet of what can they expect next week?
Well, I think you mean there's a large proportion of the audience has been to our events previously. Whether it might not have been last year, but it could have been, in years in the past at previous companies. But we don't try and reinvent the wheel. Why don't break something? Sorry, don't fix something that's not broken, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the focus of the event needs to be around the fundamentals of learning, networking, and strategic benchmarking. So, what can the audience take away that they can really feel like they've learned from the speakers? It's funny well, it's a good note that you mentioned it. It's not very hard to find speakers. There's a lot going on in the space. It's not my obviously it's not my role to find speakers, but people do approach and say, hey, look, we're doing these great things at our company, or we've just rolled out this project, and I think the audience would like to hear from it. But it's the keeping everything focused on learning, where it's through case studies, so success stories at companies. What's been, what are the pitfalls? What did they, what were the challenges while creating this journey that has lasted over the last maybe few years, even to complete. So case study driven presentations are what to look out for. There's networking sessions if it's a interactive roundtable session, so the audience can kind of move into little groups where they can discuss what their pressing issues are. Is one of the key parts of the event. Not only the informal networking, so coffee breaks, where you've just experienced or listened to a really great presentation, and then you're moving out into a more less formal environment where you can just kind of pick each other's brains and tell a little bit about your story at your organization, and maybe find a solution together if there is something that's some common ground that really hasn't been addressed in your own organization. These are the things we kind of strive for, where as long as the audience feels like they've truly been able to take something away to their own organizations, or at least been inspired to try and maybe fix a few things that might be a little bit off there. Yeah.
I can remember one thing that you have given me as an advice last year when we were participating for the first time. It was be present at the sessions, not only breakout sessions, but also main sessions. Ask questions in order to um, give to the audience the way you're thinking about certain topic, and for sure there will be networking opportunity afterwards to catch up, even to hear their thoughts on and their, so to say, pain points that they're working on currently, and maybe
True.
you have a solution that can uh, solve some of their pain points. Here, speaking about solutions, I really like the way of introducing the agenda. So it's a mixture of, as you said, the experts from the partners like we are, of the providers, of the vendors. Even though I have to say that some of the audiences are not very willing to hear vendors like, they are selling us. But no, please be aware that all those vendors are having customers like yourself, someone that you are currently in the audience, and they might be having the very same pain point that you already had. For example, this year I will be speaking about from reward strategy to employee action, boosting this impact of total rewards with the right tools, where we are, for example, really exploring how recognition, manager enablement, and these behavioral nudges are driving the, so to say, new waves of engagement. So this is not something that we have invented from the software or tool perspective, but it's something that we have seen and experienced with some of the customers that we already work with. But speaking and getting back to the agenda, what I like the most is there is a mixture of customer use case studies, then vendor presentations, then again customer use case studies. So the audience is not bored by only these sales pitches, so to say, but there is a variety of sessions that there might be present in, and they might learn a lot from the ones who are on the stage. So my two
You
cents
really hit the
here
nail on the head there.
to
Yeah.
people is really be present at the moment, because it's really something that I'm sure that every session will be something that you might be looking for.
I know, and it's you really hit the nail on the head there. It's you kind of get out what you put in at these events. I mean, you mentioned where it's not sales pitches and all that. I mean, we do have our event partners, CMOS Cloud being one of them. Thank you so much for your support over the last couple of years. Working with you has been great because you really do kind of get the idea behind the event. Where if our audiences would like to go to a trade fair and really just get sold, every next solution that's on the market, then they can go to a trade fair. What they come to our events for is to learn, or at least to, share ideas or get some inspiration. I know I mentioned that a few times. And you're right. When we spoke to you, when I saw you last year, I did say, you make sure that you're in the room, and that's not only for the partners. You might see them
Exactly.
outside, kind of. Well, there's so many hours of, of presentations that they could be involved with, and it doesn't just stop there, where you're not just sitting and listening to someone speak for half an hour at a time. There is the Q&A after every presentation, where even a member of the audience can even challenge the speaker and say, hey, but um, that was really, thank you, John, that was a really great presentation, but you mentioned X, Y, and Z. But in our organization, we found that A, B, and C had, D effect. What are your thoughts on that? And you can really get a conversation going within the room, and that kind of opens it up to the rest of the audience. It may have been one person who asked a question or made a comment, but then the rest of the audience will be like, hey, maybe we should talk about this. Maybe we should start a discussion, a small group later on, or even let's do it now if there's time during the presentation. So yeah, you really got it there, where it's a different event in the sense where we invite the audience to give their own perspective, or at least to ask questions, get into more depth when it comes to whatever the topic may be, if it's pay design, or
Yeah,
if it's the integrated well-being, if it's rewards, or pay transparency, ask questions, and then, keep that conversation going afterwards, where yeah, you can pick each other's brains. The, a lot of the presentations may seem like there's a lot of information being,
content shared.
a lot of content that people are being asked to digest in one go, but that's not where it stops. There's the Q&A obviously afterwards, but then it can move out where the speaker's not leaving. They're going to be there for the 2 days as well, and that's when you can really say, "Hey, I really liked your presentation. Then maybe we can elaborate on this because we're working on these same points." And for yourselves as well, for CMOS Cloud and for the other partners there, where you know, yes, the people may be a bit shy, that when it comes to, oh, am I going to get stuck in a sales pitch kind of thing, which is unfortunate because it's not what the partners have come on board to do. Sure, they do want to let people know what they're about and
Exactly.
what's new, but they do want to say, hey, we've worked on these things together, and maybe we can share some ideas. We're not going to ask you to sign on the dotted line straight away, kind of thing. This is a networking event. And they fully support the initiative, I think, which makes this event much different from, or at least all the HR Core events, a lot different from your typical trade fair. Yeah.
So this relates with me so much because as I said, this is not the only HR event that you are organizing that we have been participating in. So I really admire the human side of the event. So beyond all the content, beyond everything that is being shared, I somehow what set your conference apart, and this is not because we are both on this LinkedIn Live, is really
Thanks.
the energy that it has, and the like, let's say I would say the comfortability people are having while they are here. So they are really the experts, they want to share their knowledge. So it's where ideas meet people, and people becomes partners. So from and this is really going with your what you have just said is really the thing that is humanizing this event, because it's not only about the content, as we were discussing even previously when the live was not turned on, is that the people are coming here not only just for the content, because everything probably they could get from webinars, from
Chat
online
GPT.
chat gpt and everything, but it is really the human touch, the human context of it.
That's true. And it is something that sometimes gets overlooked when you're running an event. And I know you've done this a few times, but for us anyway, we go down to the minor detail. Seems can become a little bit too much of a major problem. It could be just the aircon. But when
Exactly.
or some but when you look around and you just take a moment to kind of just breathe and look at the audience and see how they're interacting with each other, it's uh, it's it's an environment where we we hope anyway that people do feel comfortable, and when we see it on D-Day kind of thing, where people are really interacting with each other, they kind of break out of their shell and and are meeting each other and sharing ideas, and yeah, it's and oh, everyone's got smiles on their faces, so it's really nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
And
sharing.
well,
So yeah,
sorry, I kind of
yeah,
cut
no
myself
worries.
off then. And to mention, you're right. A lot of the information is readily accessible. Um, but can you know, what what you get from researching through articles and through Chat GPT can get you kind of a broad idea of what other organizations are doing, or where you might feel that you need to be in your own organization,
Exactly.
but without being able to share those comments or share those ideas, or at least ask the questions. Everyone in the audience could be a speaker at these events. They're coming from big organizations. They've got plenty of experience. They're there to share their ideas as well. It's truly, at the very core, it's a networking event, and I guess the content's just a plus.
And we are even motivating them to do so. So while we are there, please comment, raise questions,
Please do.
even even judge the statements that we are doing on the stage. So in terms of obviously like positive critics, to see maybe we are doing something wrong or right. So we are open to every feedback, definitely around our presentation. So with that, I would like to wrap up. Greg, thank you for it was really great having you here. I really
Thank you
looking
for having
forward
me.
to next week. I know that it will be damn hot in Barcelona, so I will make sure I take
It's
my
already getting there.
swimsuit as well. So be
Yeah,
prepared for that. No, joke aside, thank you for having us here. At Barcelona. Thank you for in advance for hosting us there. I know that there will be a lot of discussions going on, but hey, I want to encourage everyone who is hearing this to follow the events that Greg is organizing, and already reserve your spot for next year, because this year's is
yeah.
already fully booked.
It's become a bit of thank you so much, Ilya. It's a pleasure working with you. It has been over the past couple of years. I know we were in March in Barcelona as well with some of your team.
Yeah.
It's been really great. Thank you for all the support, and at least thank you for your confidence with us. I'm glad we've been able to deliver. And for the audience as well who are listening, yes, if you're joining the event, please do make sure that you're challenging the speakers, you're challenging yourself to open up and meet as many people as possible. Share your ideas, share any kind of experience you think that could add to the overall kind of consensus of the event, so that we can leave mid Q4, sorry, Q2 of 2025 behind us, and then see what happens or what we can come up with for 2026. It's going to be a pleasure to see you there, and I'll be there. So come say hello, and if there's anything I can do to make your or myself and team, by the way, you mentioned it's just me a lot, Ilya, but it's not. It's the whole team, and we're all there to make sure that your experience is going to be as interesting and as comfortable as possible. So we look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks a lot, Greg, and all the best to the audience. See you in Barcelona.
See you there.
Bye bye.
Cheers.